We live on this tiny island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Madeira Island is called. Today we are swapping this jungle out with a direct flight to the concrete jungle of New York City.
In New York!
But how come this transatlantic flight even exists? Is it the Madeirans who love Times Square or the New Yorkers who have finally discovered paradise?
It's probably a bit of both because I've never been and I am so excited to go.
I've been a few times, so I'm more excited if I can actually enter the country, because when I was a young kid, 21, I went to jail in Miami. I was peeing in public at a closed McDonald's entrance. And ever since, when I go back, I need my visa. And this visa expired and I didn't have time to make a new one. So I made the ESTA application and it got approved, but
this does not guarantee admission to the United States.
Generally, I kind of could do New York alone, but I also need to be a good girlfriend, right?
well, you certainly are not right now.
I kind of just want to stay even if you can't get in. I mean, hotel is paid, everything is done.
Let's go to the airport.
Strong woman.
I have back problems.
Oh my god.
Jonas parking. They do have a premium line. Off to a great start.
So we're going to New York for 6 nights. There is one direct flight from here to New York once a week. So we're flying Azores Airlines, which is the only airline offering this route. In case you haven't been to the Azores, we wholeheartedly recommend it. It's such an incredible archipelago with some of Earth's most magical scenery. I mean, look at this. Our only experience with Azores Airlines were flights between these small islands. So we were super excited for this transatlantic flight of roughly 6 hours and 30 minutes. I can't believe that there's a direct flight to New York.
From Madeira, a little island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
It's crazy. First time fast track in this airport, Amelia. Madeira airport is so small that it usually never makes sense to actually have fast track. But lately it's gotten so busy that it's well worth it. This is Amelia. She steals.
Smell.
You're
Smell.
stealing.
No,
You're
I'm
stealing.
not.
You have
Smell
no
it.
intention of buying.
We are buying presents for our flight attendants. I don't know why exactly. I think ChatGPT said we should.
So since we are going to the country of corporatism, it made sense to start out with a slice of pizza from Pizza Hut. What are your expectations to New York?
I heard it at a comedy show, but apparently the people of New York are super good people with a super rude attitude. But they're generally very, very kind.
Is it like French people? That's our plane?
We don't have the same seats though. We're not next to each other.
I know you, the boss knows.
Bastard!
Yeah.
Yeah,
How are you, man? See you later, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
For some reason, we weren't seated together. I was on seat 1A.
And I was on seat 4D.
We both asked if the stranger next to us would swap with either of us, but they declined. On time at 4:09 p.m., we departed Madeira Island heading west, which means we got a rare sight to the Pearl of the Atlantic. 95% of planes leaving Madeira fly east, which means no volcano sightseeing.
Our vehicular transport is this Airbus A321neo LR, with LR meaning long range, as this airplane model normally only operates shorter distances like London to Rome. It's amazing how quiet planes are these days. The plane offers a 2-2 configuration with 16 business class seats spread out on 4 rows. But is it really business class? Officially it isn't, but the cabin feels almost as spacious. Azores Airlines call it comfort, and since the seat doesn't turn into a flatbed, comfort seems more like a hybrid of business and premium economy. That also reflects in price, with our tickets being 1,866 euros per person, where a round-trip business class ticket these days generally sell for 3,000 to 4,000 euros a pop. That's probably also why there were no orange juice or champagne upon entering the plane. I'm personally happy with compromises such as no in-flight entertainment screen and no flatbed feature in return for a lower price, but that's also because this flight is only 6.5 hours. Once we get past 8 hours, I do like my pillow, duvet and flatbed.
My seat somehow had more settings than Jon's, but seat incline was the same. Although you could say that there is free entertainment in the form of Portuguese language lessons, we were told there is in-flight Wi-Fi with a selection of movies and TV shows, but we weren't able to access it.
For me and Amalie, that doesn't really matter. We have our iPad and laptop with her watching The Office and me being at the office. And that's also why having a charging station is one of the greatest features you can have on an airplane.
Overall seat comfort was 8.4 out of 10. Unless you want to sleep, it's pretty close to a normal business class seat.
An hour into the flight, I was heavily tempted by both wine and holy fluids from God's own conglomerate, but I opted for a Bloody Mary without alcohol and Tabasco. I believe they call it tomato juice. With Azorian snacks nicely decorating my extra virgin Bloody Mary, I was already feeling the New York rooftop vibes.
And so was I.
Already early into the flight, we were pleased with the friendliness and service of the flight attendants. And we hadn't even given them the chocolate gift. We simply forgot. Upon what could have been a nice alcoholic airplane bus, we were served dinner with fish and beef as the two options. Both the salad and cake was made today, and although not exceptional, the beef was better than you would expect on an airplane. What really made the meals super delicious were these Azorian buns. The trick is to add plenty of butter and then a slice of mozzarella. At 40,000 feet, it tasted heavenly. Buried behind the cake, I even found this Presidente cheese treasure chest. So I naturally had the flight attendant bring me bun number 3. I couldn't let this cake go to waste. And it was pretty good, but you know, it was one of those where you have to eat the whole cake to make a final verdict. And the verdict is, I would eat again. While editing this video, I kind of had to give in to the temptations. But I also gave in to the fear of what if? What if they put me on this flight back to Madeira? Will Amalie explore New York on her own?
As I was watching The Big Short, I couldn't be more excited about going to the Big Apple, with or without Jon.
We're landing in less than an hour and I'm starting to be a little bit nervous because what if they won't allow me? Normally what happens is that I have to go for secondary interrogation where I'm sent to a room and then I wait there for 2 hours, 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours.
As I swapped seat with Amalie to work my camera magic, it was wild to realize we were already in the state of New York. It really felt like we just left Madeira. That's Long Island right there. You know, the Hamptons with epic villas, the Imperial Diner, and other cool stuff. A heavy haze made it difficult to spot the majestic skyline of New York, but the silhouette was visible. Welcome to JFK.
It's 33 degrees here.
We forgot to give you.
We wanted to give it when you boarded, but it was okay.
Welcome to the US.
Thank you. Thank you.
You have a good flight?
Yes, I had actually a good flight. I was a little sad that I didn't get to see us fly in, because that was one of the things I was most excited about.
I got to see it.
Well, because you took my seat.
Just watch my video later when it's
Yeah.
uploaded.
The TSA scares me so much. So if I'm going for secondary, then it all depends on how much congestion there is in the airport.
US passport? Nope. Yes, they're right here. Thank you very much.
We are the only non-Americans on this airplane. This actually answers the question we had. We were in the beginning of this video, we were like, is it only Americans using this route? This is crazy.
We're the only non-Americans on this flight. You have a place on Madeira?
Yeah, I'm a New Yorker, but I bought a place in Mexico. And
Wow.
We of course weren't surprised by the fact that most of the passengers were Americans. The 3 main reasons why this transatlantic route exists are simple. A growing amount of Americans choose to spend their retirement on Madeira Island. A growing amount of Americans are also buying vacation homes here. For example, our soon-to-be neighbors live on Manhattan. For them, Madeira Island is simply the perfect contrast to the bustling city life. And with a direct flight from JFK to Funchal, it's about the same distance as JFK to LAX. Finally, you have a growing amount of Americans who simply just want to visit this volcanic paradise, as the word is spreading like wildfire.
Anyway, it was a moment of truth. Will I be allowed into God's own country?
These two.
Oh wow.
These two. Put them at the front.
It started out great with this saint of a human who, for some reasons, made sure we jumped the line.
Put them up in the line from here. Look at them good.
Thank you, man. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
This is the line for diplomats, and as you can see, there is no line.
Thank you.
We couldn't believe it, but unfortunately it didn't go down that easy.
So he has to come with me for another check.
You know, I belong to the people that stress eats So I'm pretty excited that we have a whole box of chocolate. I don't know, every time I'm a little stressed out or nervous, I tend to eat a lot. So as you can see, I stress pretty often. So a situation right now could be that we actually have to find a flight back today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Portugal and to Madeira. We have just landed at Cristiano Ronaldo Airport in Funchal.
Next time you're gonna get the visa, okay?
The temperature is 21 degrees.
Kidding!
I was literally sitting like this, ready to film you.
I never get used to it, even though I've done this 6-7 times. But the fact that we jumped that line, for some reason that synced when we got in the beginning.
Yes.
He put us in diplomat line. We saved an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And there was no one in there, so 20 minutes and boom. Oh, okay.
Okay, moral of the story, don't pee on the street when you're 20 and drunk.
We immediately grabbed an Uber where the Manhattan skyline slowly but surely got closer and closer. You can't argue with the fact that New York City is super impressive. And we hadn't even left the Uber before I experienced culture shock.
I was just thinking, you know, how different cultures are. So when Americans, they go to our country or to Europe, they're like, they want to see the Eiffel Tower and eat like delicious pastry and try all these delicacies. And when we come to the States, all we want to do is binge eat fast food. And I'm looking at Chick-fil-A, I'm like, oh, I never had that. Everyone says it's so good, I want to try it now. We're gonna get so fat while we're here.
And the culture shock continued as we explored what felt like a theme park of ads.
This reminds me of a scene of Idiocracy where everything is just branding, you know?
Literally. Look at this. It's literally... We're walking inside a commercial. Amalie, let's go to Applebee's.
Jeg vil hellere til Dallas Barbecue.
The real question for me was, is New York pizza as great as everyone says?
I swear this place is all about dopamine hunting. Like everywhere you look, there is some sort of temptation, whether it's food or shopping or drinks. It's everywhere.